Hey, hello and welcome to today's GFG problem of the day. Hope you're doing extremely well. So let's say today's problem, split linked list alternatingly. Okay, so what the problem is saying is we'll be given a single linked list's head, okay, and we'll be given a function that should split the given linked list into two smaller linked lists. Okay, the sublist should be made from alternating elements from the original list. Okay, so what the problem is saying is, so here is an example. Okay, so we want to split this linked list into two linked lists, into two lists or sublists. Okay, and it should be made with alternating elements from the original list. So here, for example, one linked list will start from here, the another linked list will start from here. So for example, 0 and then for example 1 here. So we need to consider the alternate elements, okay, in each list. So here the alternate element will be 0. For this one, it is the alternate element, it is going to be 1, right? So it is going to be like this. Similarly, next element is going to be the alternating element, and for this one, it is going to be this one. Okay. So we want to split the lists in this way. Okay. The given list into two sublists. Okay. And then we have to return the heads, the respective heads. Okay. The respective heads, basically. Okay. So this is the ask. Okay, now how can we solve the problem? Okay, so what we will do is, we'll take four pointers. Okay, so one would be, let's say, head one. Okay, head one. Okay, another would be head two. Okay, now we are going to take two tail pointers. So one would be tail one, right? Okay, and another would be tail two. Okay, for the corresponding head 2. Tail 1 for the corresponding head 1, tail 2 for the corresponding head 2. Okay, okay. Now what we are going to do is, we will, we want, right, the next element. So for example, now 0, 0, H1 is pointing here, T1, that is tail 1 is pointing here, 1, H2 is pointing here, T2 is pointing here. Okay. Now what we want to do is, we want to have, for this one, we want to have this particular element, right? So for this, what we're going to do, tail 1 dot next, sorry, tail 1 dot next will say equal to tail 2 dot next. Okay, so if you see what you are saying, tail 1 dot next equal to tail 2 dot next. So tail 2 is what? Tail 2 is here, right? So what we are saying, tail 1 dot next equal to tail 2 dot next, tail 2 dot next. So tail 2 is here, so tail 2 dot next is this one. So we are assigning tail 2 dot next to tail 1 dot next. So in this way we are bypassing this particular node. Okay, okay. So once done this particular statement, right? So what we're going to do, so here we have another 0, and then the next statement will be tail 1 equal to tail 1 dot next. So in this way, what we are doing is, we are updating a tail 1 pointer. So tail 1 will point here. Okay, tail 1 will point here now. So here T1 or tail 1 points here. Okay, now points here. Okay, so once this is done, now tail 1 is pointing here, right? So the next statement, so here we'll check if tail 1 is still not null, right? Tail 1 is still not null. So then what we are going to do, now we want to update. Now we want to have the next element for tail 2, right? So what we'll do, simply tail 2 dot next equal to tail 1 dot next. Okay. So what we are doing, so tail 1 is pointing here, tail 2 is pointing here. So what we are doing is, we are saying, we are assigning tail 1 dot next. What is tail 1 dot next? Tail 1 dot next is this. Tail 1 is here, tail 1 dot next is here. So we are saying tail 1 dot next equal to tail 2 dot next. So tail 2 is here. So here, so we are pointing this next one to this particular one, right? So tail 2 dot next equal to tail 1 dot next. So in this way, we are bypassing this particular element, right? So here what we're going to do, 1. And again, the next step will be to update the tail 2 pointer. So tail 2 will point here. So what, to update the tail 2 pointer, what we'll say? So tail 2 equal to tail 2 dot next. Okay. So in this way again, we'll process these steps in repeating, right? In the repeating while loop. So what will be the while loop? So while loop should be tail 2 should not be null, because tail 2 is the next pointer, right, after tail 1. So we need to check for tail 2. So in this way, we have to repeat the steps, and in this way, we'll have two sublists. And finally, we want to return H1 and H2. okay, as a new heads, okay, as a new heads. So I hope you have got the intuition. Now let's code. I think you'll understand better. So before going to the code, I'll request you to subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment on the video. Okay, it will really be helpful to me and motivating as well. Okay, let's quickly see the Java code followed by C++. So as I said, so we'll take two pointers, H1. Let's take H1, and we'll say head, right? And another pointer H2 equal to head dot next, we'll say, right? We also want the corresponding tail one for the H1, that is head one, right? So here we'll say for tail one, we'll say T1, okay, short forms, okay. So what we'll do, we'll say the same head, and here we'll call T2, which will be head dot next, right? Head dot next, okay. So with this, what we are saying, for example, right, we are saying 0 T1 and 1 T2. H1 is here, H2 is here, okay. Now what you're going to say, while tail 2 is, or sorry, T2 is not null, right? And then what we are saying here is we want T1 dot next equal to T2 dot next, right? I've already explained this, right? T1 dot next equal to T2 dot next. Okay. Then what we are saying, T1 equal to, we want to update the pointer, right? We want to go to the next element of the T1, right? T1 equal to T1 dot next. Then we are going to say, we'll check here. If T1 is still not null, if T1 is still pointed to some node, if it is, then what you're going to do, T2 dot next equal to T1 dot next. I've already explained this. And finally, T2 equal to T2 dot next, right? Right? Okay. And finally, what we're going to do, return new node. So H1 and H2 will be pointing to the first nodes of the respective list, right? So okay. So finally we'll return H1 and H2 here, H2. Now we also want to handle the base condition. For example, if the head itself is null, that is it's a empty linked list, or if the list contains, if the original list contains only one element, next is equal to null. Then in this case, what we do, return new node, right? The array, and we'll say head comma null. So what does this mean? So what does this mean? It means, so for example, if head is null, then we'll return null and null, right? If head dot next is null, that is it contains only one element, then we are saying the one element will be part of the first list and the second list will be empty. Okay. So in this way, we have solved the problem. I hope you've got the solution. So it's compiled successfully. It's submitted. Okay, yes, the test cases are passed. I hope you have got the solution. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video. Let's quickly see the C++ code as well. I'll also attach the code in the comment section. So here is the C++ code. So let's first see. So here, head one, we are assigning head to head one, assigning head dot next to head two, right? And similarly, head one we are assigning to tail one. This, I think this should have been, okay, head two dot next, right? Head two, no, this is right. Right? This is right. Head 2, we are assigning to tail 2, which is nothing but head dot next, right? And then we are checking. While tail 2 is not null, then I have already explained the steps. Tail 1 dot next equal to tail 2 dot next, right? And then we are updating tail 1, or we are going to the next node of the tail 1, right? And if tail 1 is not null, then we are saying tail 2 dot next equal to tail 1 dot next, right? Right? And then finally, we are updating the tail 2. We are going to the next element of tail 2. And then finally, what we are doing, we are returning head 1 and head 2. So this is a code that's submitted. I hope you've got the solution. I'll attach the code in the comment section. Yes, the test cases are passed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video. Have a happy, healthy, and a great day. Thank you so much.